Hi everybody, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to our channel. If you haven't been to our channel before, my name is Jeffrey, aka Amin.
And I'm Hasna.
My wife.
In today's video, we're going to be showing you 6 ways of how to rent an apartment in Istanbul. And this video is going to be full of tricks, tips, and hacks to rent the apartment that's best suitable for your situation. So please stay until the end. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So as you know, Istanbul is a city that lies in 2 continents. So there is a European side and an Asian side, or an Anatolian side. In the European side, the ranges for rent for 1-bedroom apartment, for example, starts from 3,000 Turkish liras to 6,500 Turkish liras. And for the 2-bedroom, starts on average from 5,000 Turkish liras to 10,000 Turkish liras, depending on the person's budget and the location, and it's just personal choice.
You're on the Asian side, which we are on. 1-bedroom rent ranges from like 2,000 Turkish liras to 5,000 Turkish liras for a 1-bedroom, and for 2-bedroom, we're looking at 3,000 Turkish liras to around 6,500 Turkish liras. So it's a lot lower on the Asian side. So one of the main places you can look to find a nice apartment would be Facebook Market, and also get into like Facebook groups.
Yes, right. However, one thing is you want to be careful with some Facebook groups, because there's a lot of scams that can go on in there, and some people might post pictures of apartments that do not belong to them. Anyways, there's a whole bunch of stories about scams. You stay until the end of this video. We're gonna show you all the ways that you can do, all the things you can do to avoid getting scammed while renting an apartment. And jump into our screen and we can show you how you can find and look for this apartment through Facebook Marketplace. So here we are in Facebook Marketplace, and you want to start by scrolling down to property rentals. You can click here, then start by filtering your research by kilometers. So let's set it, for example, to 20 kilometers within the area you're looking for an apartment in. Then you can apply, and for example, we can set the budget to 2,500 Turkish lira to 7,000 Turkish lira. And of course, this is just an example for this video, but you can set whatever budget you're comfortable with. And we're going to be looking for a 1-bedroom apartment. As you see, there is lots of results within that budget, and you can just click and look at the details of the apartment. Sometimes the description can be in Turkish, but once you click here, you can see the translation. The other option we were talking about is the Facebook groups option. So for example, this is a Facebook group. It's called Istanbul Apartments, Rooms, Houses for Rent and Sale. You can either come here and write an inquiry yourself, stating that you are looking for an apartment with the number of bedrooms and that's your budget. Or you can just scroll down through the listings and you can check what other people are offering and see if you find something that you like. Again, just stay vigilant, as we said, and do your due diligence to make sure and avoid you don't get scammed.
So the second place you can look to find places to live would be Airbnb.
Yeah, and we usually recommend Airbnb if you're like staying here for like a short stay of 3 to 6 months. You really don't want to get yourself in like in a contract for a full year, something like that. Airbnb will be the best choice. Again, we can jump in our screen and we're going to show you how to navigate the platform. Okay, so here we are in Airbnb, and the first thing we're going to do is pick the location. So for us, it will be Istanbul, Turkey. And you can start choosing the date here. So the thing with Airbnb is the longer the time you are staying, the cheaper the price. So 7 days and more tend to be more discounted prices. So we'll pick, for example, from the 16th to the 24th. And we're going to do 2 guests for sake of this video and hit search. And then you can see here's the prices here, but you can also narrow the prices down here depending on your budget. Let's see, our maximum price per night is $50. And also you want to make sure that you pick the entire place, except if you were looking for a shared accommodation or a private room or a shared facility with other people, then you can obviously select these options here. But
if you're looking for an entire place, then you have to make sure to click this option here. Then you're gonna click save, and now we can see from the map here whether you want to stay in the Asian side or you want to stay on the European side. Then you can pick and navigate from here. Another thing that you want to make sure to do while you are in Airbnb is to check the reviews, because it is very important to see what people's insight about that place. Sometimes the pictures might not match the reality of the apartment because it might be like older or taken at a different time. So you want to make sure that you read the most recent reviews of the people who stayed there, and to see if it actually matches whatever else on the pictures. Another thing to keep in mind is to check the house rules or the host rules. So, for example, this place you can check after 3 p.m. and check out at 12 p.m., and there is no pets allowed and no parties or event, but you can smoke inside. Other places might not allow smoking for people who like to smoke. So those are things that you want to keep in mind.
So the third place I'd look would be called Sahibinden. It's an app you can get on download on your phone or even onto your computer. For those people that live in Canada, it's very familiar to Kijiji and Craigslist. So it's like that's basically identical. It has like everything on the platform from buying anything, but mostly to find a nice place, that's what I would recommend.
Yes, Sahibinden is like the biggest app used in Turkey, and it's very practical. We're gonna show you like the best way to use it. It's where we found our own apartment.
Sahibinden's website. The first thing you want to start with is setting up an account. I created my account with an email. You can also do create an account with a Turkish phone number if you already have one. Um, the second thing I would advise you to do is to actually open the website on the Google Chrome, because the website is originally written in Turkish, and except if you understand Turkish, then you can use it like that, but otherwise you can open it on the Google Chrome and that will translate the page for you automatically to English or whatever is your preferred language. So you want to come to real estate, and we're going to click housing over here. As you see, everything is translated in English for me, and then we're gonna sort for rent because that's what we're looking for. In this section, we have housing. So if you know exactly what you're looking for, like for example, if you know specifically that you want to live in a compound, in a residence, or an apartment, then you can pick from here. But if you don't know, you can. It's fine to keep it general, and then you can decide later on. And for the province, we're going to do Istanbul. Same for the district. So if you weren't sure exactly which area you want to stay in, you can just keep it general until you do further research or you become more familiar with the areas, and then you can pick which side. But if you know, you can pick exactly which district you want to stay in. For the budget, we're going to do 2,500 Turkish lira to 7,000 Turkish lira. And then you can filter your research either by a list or a map, and I will show you how to do both. Also, just an FYI, something I want to mention regarding picking up which district or neighborhood you're going to stay in. If you were going to apply for a Turkish permanent residence or what's called ikamet, then you want to avoid renting an apartment in an area called Esenyurt or Fatih, because both areas are not accepted when you submit your rental documents to the immigration office. Your application will automatically rejected if you reside in both those areas. So we're going to go ahead with our search and click search. Okay, so a very important thing you want to see is like here it shows you all ads, meaning the ads from rental agency or by owners and from construction companies. Later in the video, I'm going to explain to you the difference between renting from an owner or a real estate agency, but you can filter this research by simply just clicking over here, and then it will take you to whatever section that you're looking at. Also, to further narrow your research, you can come down here. And another important thing you want to look for is to actually filter the age of the building. So because Turkey, it is located on a high risk earthquake area, it is very important that the age of the building is between 11 to 15 years, because all these buildings that were built around that time, they're built with the rules and regulation that respect the earthquake rules. You can also filter if you want a furnished apartment, if you want a balcony, or a different number of bathrooms, and then you can click, for example, on this listing, then you can see all the description of the apartment. Now I'm going to show you my preferred way to actually use the website. So here's the map option, and it's very visual, and that's the reason I like it. It's makes it easy to distinguish between both sides, so the European side and the Asian side. Another reason why I like it is because you can simply just take a close up and you can see how close you are to the subway line or parks, for example. Also, like, because I wasn't familiar with the areas, it was very easy for me to pick and see how far is it, for example, from the ferries, or in which area exactly is it located. So, and you can simply just hover over, like, for example, you do this and you see that this apartment is going for 6,000 Turkish lira and it's a 1+1. Go back to the Asian side. This is the Karaköy area, so 6,000 Turkish lira and it's a 1+1. And let's just click on this one and I can show you how you can contact the landlord and see more information about the apartment. So there we go. You can see here's the apartment pictures again, and then this is from a real estate agency. You can contact them either through sending a message through the actual platform, or you can simply just contact them through the cell phone number via phone call or a text message.
So the fourth one I would recommend would be called, how do you pronounce that again?
Hepsiemlak.
Hepsiemlak. I'm still practicing my Turkish. So
Yeah. So Hepsiemlak is another Turkish platform where you can go look for rental apartments, or it's mainly for real estate. So either you buy or you rent. And we're going to show you how to navigate that one as well.
Hepsiemlak platform. You want to come to the search bar and type Istanbul. And you're going to click search. Again, you want to make sure you're on Google Chrome and you have the translation extension plugged in to make sure that it's translated to English. As this platform, it's strictly for real estate, you want to come here and just filter for rent, and you can choose the district if you already know, and then the neighborhood. You can filter by the type of place you want or the category of the place, and then you can set your budget. You can stick with the same budget that we've put in the previous videos, and then let's see what we can get. Let's do 1+1 and 1 bathroom. Okay, there you go. We can do the age of the building, so 11 to 15. And like, there is a long list if you like to narrow your research further, but we're just gonna click search for now. And you can see all the list of the apartments here. Let's click on this first one. Check out the pictures. This is mostly from a real estate agent, and you can contact them through here. You can see the details and more information about the apartment here. If there is any further information, you will find it in this area here. So the fifth option you have is just to walk into one of these real estate offices. They are usually located all over the city. So if you're looking within the neighborhood or the area you are staying in currently, I'm pretty sure you will spot a few. Just walk in and ask about the apartments they currently have.
So now the last option to find a place to live would be buildings that have like signage. And what you would do is you go around and just take photos of the numbers that are listed outside of it, and we call them, and then we see if someone speaks English, or we just literally go to that building after we made that phone call for an appointment. So now let's talk about things to consider when looking for an apartment suitable for you and your family, if that's the case, right? So for us, the first thing we did is we looked for the area. We wanted to make sure that there were schools, parks, there was green space, and just a family-orientated area. Like, we really wanted that because of our daughter. Mm-hmm. And number one is public transportation. Another thing is, like, the second step is now that you've looking at apartments and you're seeing what you want and you find a place you like, you gotta make sure to inspect the place. And I'm talking wall to wall, make sure everything is like properly done, the paint and everything like that. And take pictures of things that you know cannot really be changed, just so you're not they don't try to pin it on you later on and say.
After you decide on an apartment and you decide to go ahead with it, you want to make sure if there were any previous tenants that there isn't any outstanding bills or utilities that needed to be paid. So that's something you want to check for, and make sure you remember when you started to use these utilities. So when it's time for you to pay your own share, you're not paying for someone else's usage. Other things to consider are costs. So there's different costs to consider when you rent an apartment in Istanbul, and it's very different if you come from like Western or North American countries. So the process is a little bit different. So utilities, gas, water, heating, and electricity, internet. That's something that you would
personally
like pay for yourself. Like, I haven't seen any apartments that come with all utilities included, except if you were going with an Airbnb. You don't have to pay for that. There is also something called IDAT, which is like maintenance fee. So dependent on the building. Other costs to consider is the deposit. So when you rent here, you would need to pay a deposit to the landlord, which is basically like for any damages that would take place in the apartment. And one thing we were asking about is like the wear and tear, and they were confused. They were like, funny. What is wear and tear?
Like, wear and tear? What is this? This is Turkey. If you damage it, you pay for it. She's like, well, you know, like in Canada, like if it's wear and tear, you know, the guy looks at her like, the wear who? No, you pay it and you paint it back. So that was funny. I was like, just don't say wear and tear. But it was funny. It was funny.
So there is no wear and tear. If you break something, if the paint gets crashed or your kid writes on the wall, whatever, you would have to fix it, or otherwise you're going to use that deposit you paid to cover the costs for that. And usually the deposit, just to mention, is 1 month worth of rent. In Canada, like normally it's the landlord that would pay the real estate agent, but here it's the renter who pays the real estate agent 1 month full of rent. And even though like you didn't hire the real estate agent, it's hired by the landlord, you still have to pay them. But it's not necessary that you go through a real estate agent. We just did it because we needed a peace of mind. We were looking for an apartment and we didn't want to go through we don't speak the language, so it was easier for us to go through a real estate agent who spoke English. It was much easier for us. Some landlords or some real estate agent might request to pay, if you're a foreigner, 6 months full of rent upfront, or 3 months full of rent
even
upfront,
a year,
or even a year. If you're coming from a different country, it might be like such a weird thing for you to do, but it's a very common thing in Turkey. Again, if you feel comfortable and that's something you want to do, you can totally go ahead with it. If not, then you just can keep looking until you find someone that's suitable for your own needs, or whatever is convenient for you. Also, there is documents that you should get while signing the rental contract. So there is first thing is a copy of the ID of the owner, so you know that they are actually
the owner of the property.
Yes, the owner of the property. And there's something that's called tapu, which is like the proof of ownership. So for example, if that person is renting you the apartment, if you're going straight to the person, so you want them to show you their ID, they show you the tapu, so you know that they are actually the owner of that property. So now if you're going through a real estate agent, you still want to see the owner's ID and the tapu, but now you want to see a power of attorney, so meaning that that person is actually giving the real estate agent the power to rent that apartment on their behalf. And of course you want to see the rental agreement. And at the time when we did a rental agreement, we just did it in Turkish. Like, we had to go translate it ourselves when we were doing our permanent resident process,
which will be on another video, by the way, guys, we're gonna make for you.
Yes, but now the rules, from what I heard, they changed. So in order for you to write a rental agreement, a notary had to be there, or a notary have to be there, and they will have to write their agreement for you both in English and in Turkish.
There you have it. Thank you so much if you stayed all the way to the end of the video. We really appreciate your support. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yes, and don't forget to hit the notification bell button.
Stay blessed.
Stay blessed.